So here we are, guys. This is the Xiaomi Mi Box S 4K Ultra HD streaming device. This is third generation. This does come with Google TV, quad-core processor, 32 gigs of storage, Wi-Fi 6, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, HDR10, and this is one of those devices that's set to compete with the Fire TV Stick, with the On device, as well as the Google streaming device. So let's go ahead and quickly unbox it. We're gonna test it today, do some benchmark, do some speed tests. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. As for now, I don't think this is available in the US. I was able to get this off AliExpress. So hopefully this will be making its way to Amazon here in a little bit, but I'll go ahead and share the link where you can go ahead and pick it up. I know this is overkill, but I've been using this to unbox. So one question that came up, and I did a couple shorts on this, question that came up is, does this come with the US plug? So we'll find out here in a couple seconds. All right, so simple setup. Here's the box itself. So here's the plug itself. This looks like it's the European, I believe, but let's see what else is in the box. We have this, and we have the remote itself. So to answer your question, no, this is not a US plug. However, Xiaomi did send this over in the box when I ordered it. And if you guys been watching, you know that I ordered this as well as the TV stick version of it. So they did send me this. So I do have an adapter that I can plug into the wall. Again, this is mainly because this is a global version. It's available in China, but for US plug, they do sell an adapter like this. And I think I have a couple adapters laying around anyway, so I wasn't worried about not having the proper plug. All right, so here's the plug itself. It also comes with an HDMI cable. Standard length, probably about 3 to 4 feet. Here's the remote. So the remote looks pretty good, simple, as we expect from Xiaomi. So power button up top, Google Voice Assistant, navigation. Do have a Xiaomi TV Plus, so I'm curious if that's going to work, especially in the US. Back, home, Netflix, Prime Videos, YouTube, and we also have a dedicated apps button, as well as the volume rocker. All right, so this is going to take 2 AAA batteries, not included. All right, so I mentioned the streaming stick, so this is what the stick looks like, and very curious if just the form factor makes it a competitor against the Fire TV Stick when the actual TV box does offer more storage and better specs, in my opinion. But we'll get into the stick itself in another video. So just so you know, the power portion of this plug is not USB-C. It is going to be a barrel adapter. As far as the box itself, pretty tiny, as you can see. Xiaomi boxes, for the most part, kept the form factor over the years. So good looking box, low profile. You do have an LED right here on top. Nothing on the sides. Nothing underneath. On the back, you're going to have your power plug, HDMI out, and your USB. Now this itself just makes it a lot more user friendly, because now you can add your storage, your keyboards, put a USB hub in there and plug in whatever you need to do. So that saves you an extra step. No need to get an OTG adapter. So let's go ahead and get it powered up. All right, so start pairing the remote. So we're gonna go ahead and press the home and the TV plus button. So we're gonna select our language, region. And again, I'm going through this setup because this is an international version, so you do have a lot of options as far as languages and regions when you actually do the setup. As far as the setup themselves, you can go ahead and just make your life easier by scanning the actual QR code, which I'm doing now. So here we are in the Google TV user interface. Because I signed into my account, you can see it does have some recommendations, which is fine. But first, before we do anything, we're going to check the notifications, see if we have any updates available. So we're going to go to our settings. I'm gonna go to System, About, and we're just gonna go ahead and check System Update. So it looks like we do have an update, so let's go ahead and download it. And again, I'm just gonna fast forward this part. I want to get this fully up to date. Then we'll go to our system settings and see what we're actually running. All right, we're gonna agree. And again, this is for the Xiaomi TV Plus, which, like I said, I've never played with, so definitely want to check it out. It is right here under my favorite application, so definitely see what that's about. Not familiar with it. Patch wall, I'm not familiar with that either, so we'll be checking those out. But before we do, let's make sure we're fully up to date, and we're gonna check out what version we're running. Of course, later on we are gonna get into IDA 64 and just double check and see what's really under the hood. All right, so first let's check for a system update. All right, so it looks like we are completely up to date. Let's go back. As far as just some of the information, you can see the model right there. Mi TV AFMU0, Android 14. Current security patch is June 1st, 2025, which I think is the most recent one. Do have the kernel, the build version. If you guys know to get to developer options on this, this is where we're going to go, but we're going to jump into that here in a little bit. But first, I just wanted to quickly go over the user interface. So again, this is what Google TV looks like for the most part. We are going to get some offers right here. There's some things you can do to kind of minimize that, but for the most part, you're stuck with this layout unless you go into the apps only mode, which I'll be going into here in a little bit. All right, so you're going to have some recommendations. You have your applications row. You also have top selling movies, recommendations again. All right, so again, typical Google TV user interface, not much to really get into. You do have your live TV section. All right, so this is gonna be Google Free Play. We know that that's available on every Google TV device. Ton of channels, guys. I've done a couple of videos on this. But I'm curious to everyone that's outside of the US, do you get a live TV area? And if you do, what does that look like? Do have a library, no apps downloaded as of yet. Let's check out this Xiaomi TV Plus. Not familiar with it. Look like it's gonna have free live television, extensive library, 24-hour live TV. So let's go ahead and check it out, guys. I'm not gonna do a full dive into it, just kind of checking it out. But if it looks good, definitely will do a follow-up video, just going over the application itself. You remember there's a dedicated button for that on the remote. So I'm thinking that's something that's exclusive to the Mi Box, but let's see if it even works here in the US. But it seems like it's a regional application, so it is geolock. Maybe it's a Chinese only application, but I don't have access to it where I currently am. Patch wall is going to be the same thing. When I click on that, all right, you can tell it is not yet available in my area. So those I'll probably get rid of, but let me know what areas you're in. And if those applications are actually useful. I have my Netflix and my YouTube. Let's go ahead and try out the smart function on the remote. So watch movies on Netflix. All right, so it just essentially brought me to popular movies on Netflix. Let's try something else. Watch Animal Kingdom on Netflix. So I did find it on Netflix and it brought me right to the actual episode. What's the weather like in Austin, Texas? All right, so you can see, tells me the weather, 95 degrees, and I can go ahead and click on it for more information as far as the forecast. So the Google Assistant is going to be really good. More you integrate it with your home, you should be able to do other things like turn off lights, turn on cameras, view cameras, and so on and so forth. Let's go over the streaming aspect, because this is at heart a streaming device. So how does it handle streaming? It is going to handle 4K streaming, whether it's on Netflix, Prime Videos. It's going to handle those extremely well. But let's go over to YouTube and we'll see how it handles just streaming a 4K video and just kind of see what the frame rates are. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll just make sure that we are actually streaming 4K. All right, so let's bump it up to 2160p. And you can see now, fully streaming 4K, looks really good. Let me skip ahead a little bit. Looks magnificent. Again, this is at heart a streaming device. this is going to handle anything you throw at it, whether it's Netflix, Prime Videos, YouTube, like I'm testing right here. Let's turn on the Stats for Nerds. What Stats for Nerds does is going to give you some background information of how your stream's looking. So it tells you the frame rates, it tells you the resolution, it also tells you how many frames are being dropped versus how many frames you've actually streamed. So if you look right there, you can see I have 0 frames dropped of over 1668. So running really well so far, and you can see the picture just looks really good in my opinion. Google TV is going to look really good for the most part. You can see you have your app section, you do have recommendations. However, there's a mode on here that I always like to show people, especially if you don't like the bulkware, the recommendations, the different tabs. There's a mode called apps only mode. Turn that on, all you see is your applications, and it's really easy to do. So to get to that, you're going to go to your settings, going to go to your account profile, go over, and you're going to go down to where it says apps only mode. Go ahead and turn that on. All right, it's going to give you your warning, whatever the case is, and then go ahead and turn it on. Now when you push the home button, guys, you'll see that all you have on these screens are applications, which I find really nice. I love this layout, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you use apps only mode, and do you prefer it over the Google TV user interface? All right, so to get it back, go back to your settings, of course, go to your account, go to your profile, gonna go down to apps only mode again, turn it off, and you're right back where you started. Next, let's jump into our file installation, USB installation, third-party applications, because it's all tied into the same thing. So first thing we're going to do for this is enable developer options, and there's a lot of options once you do that you can play with your box. We just wanted to show you guys how to get to it just in case you need it for whatever reason. So to get to it, you're going to go to your system and go to about. You're going to go down to the build number. Now once you're on the build number, you want to tap the OK button or the select button 7 times, and it should enable developer options. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm a developer. Now if I go back one menu, if I go down, you can see I now have developer options turned on. And with developer options, like I said, you have so many different options that you can do. You can change picture colors, you can change your USB debugging. That might be a special permission if you want to do something like mouse toggle. So a lot of different options in here, but I'm not going to get into all of them because we want to get into USB drives, installing third-party applications. So let's go ahead and jump over to that. All right, so let me go ahead and plug in my USB drive. All right, so when I plug it in at first, it's going to ask me what I want to use to open it. So first it gives me File Manager Plus. It lets me know it's a USB. I can view the photos, I can view the videos, I can do whatever. But if you hit back, that main screen will disappear. And then below it did ask me where I want to view it. File Manager Plus is my default, my go-to file manager, but for now I'm just going to cancel it. But I'm going to show you a couple options as far as storage. So to get to your storage option, you go to your settings. Going to go to your system, and then you're going to go to storage. Now within storage, you are going to see that USB. The one that I'm using now is FAT32. I will be doing a follow-up video to let you guys know if it works with NTFS, if it works with FAT, if it works with exFAT. So stay tuned for that, and also let me know if you have any questions. That way I can incorporate that in that video. But it shows you the internal storage. I do have 28 gigs of space remaining, so that's from maybe a couple apps that I have installed. So for the most part, this is a baseline device with not a lot of application installed. So this is my test USB. If I click on the test USB, you can see I have 2 options here. I can either eject it or I can erase and format as device storage. Now, very important to note is that when you erase and format as device storage, essentially going to wipe everything on your file, then it's going to format it as part of your device. And what that means is that you can no longer use this USB drive with any other device. You really have to only use it with this box, so you want to keep that in mind. If you're just looking to play content, install files from a USB, you want to get a file manager. Like I said, for me, I do have File Manager Plus installed, and it's been great so far. So let's head over there. All right, so we see the files, we see the main storage right here, but if we go to test, and we're just going to go down a little bit, you're going to see the files that I have installed. So I do have some videos. I do have 4K video right here. Let's go ahead and test that out. And this is 4K 60 frames per second, so it's a pretty high resolution file. You can see that works with no issues. Can go ahead and skip ahead. Works really good, looks really good as well. Let's go back. All right, here's another video, some APKs. So picture right here, I believe. Right, so you can do anything on here that you want. You can also install applications directly from the USB, and let's bring you through this process. So this essentially is going to mimic if you want to install third-party applications. This is from a USB, it's not from the App Store, so that'll kind of be a similar process. You can also go through Downloader to get your applications, but let's go ahead and go through the process of installing from a USB. So I do have the APK on here, IDA64. I'm going to click on it. All right, it's going to say, first, for your security, your TV currently isn't allowed to install unknown apps from this source. So it's saying that File Manager Plus does not allow you to install applications, or the system doesn't allow File Manager Plus to install applications. Now, if you're trying to install from Downloader, you'll get the same pop-up. However, it'll be that Downloader is not allowed to install applications. So keep that in mind. So it's going to say you can go to the settings, and it's going to just bring you over to the Install Unknown Apps area, and you're going to see File Manager Plus here. All you need to do is just go ahead and turn it on. All right, when you turn it on, you will get that pop-up. Do you want to install the app? Click Install. And I'm going to go down to Install anyway. All right, so that's done. And we're just going to install one more. This is going to be 3D Mark. We are going to do a benchmark here and see where this compares against some of the streaming devices, your Fire TV Stick, your On 4K Pro and Plus, as well as the NVIDIA Shield TV. And once we're here, let's go to IDA64 and see what's really under the hood. The device did give us some details about what's under the hood, but to really see what's really there, guys, you need a device like this. It's going to break down every detail. You can see the installed RAM right there. You can see the available memory. You can see the storage space, Bluetooth version. So a lot of information in there that's really good to look at. As far as the CPU, gives you the breakdown. It's an ARM Cortex A55, maxes out at 2.5 gigahertz, 64-bit processor. However, it is running in 32-bit mode. All right, graphics card, as they said, this is a Mali G310. And it shows the screen resolution as well at 4K or 3840 by 2160. All right, so this can go into devices, thermal, codec, so a lot of useful information on here. So definitely, if you're someone who likes to get under the hood, this is a great way to kind of see what your box is running. Now, of course, from the USB drive, you can also plug in your USB dongle, whether it's for wireless keyboard, mouse, whether it's for gaming controller. So love the fact that this does have a built-in USB option within the box itself. So next thing I want to do is network speed test. And the first test I'm going to do is going to be over Wi-Fi, and just to see what speeds I'm getting. But then I wanted to compare it to what speeds I'm getting when I use the USB dongle to Ethernet to see if that speeds increase or if it goes down. So I am currently on Wi-Fi. Let's launch the Analytics application. Download speed is 155. Upload look like it's gonna wrap up around 22 or 23. So just to give you guys an idea, I am paying for 500 megabits per second download, 20 upload. So would like to see better speeds. Let me go ahead and give it another shot. Not really impressed. Let's try the Ethernet adapter and see if that improves. So currently on Ethernet, you can see in the top that the Ethernet designation is right there. So let's go ahead and do another speed test. 327 on the download and 21 megabits per second on the uploads. So overall, just a better score coming from the USB port. So if you're someone who doesn't have great Wi-Fi, or you're far away from your router, whatever the case is, wired is definitely an option in this case, as it does not limit you to 100 megabits per second like we've seen with other devices. So let's go ahead and do a benchmark, and then we'll come back with the results and see how they compare to other streaming devices. So here's our benchmark results. So 1498 overall score. The graphics score is scored a 1521. And if you go to the physics score, which scores the CPU, that's scored a 1424. So pretty good. And just to put this into perspective, Fire TV Stick 4K Max scored an 801 overall on this test. The On 4K Pro, which is the device with the built-in Google Assistant, scored a 584. And the On 4K Plus, which is the newest streaming device from On, actually scored a 1574, which is a little bit better than this. But overall, it did give us a solid score. So overall, I do love this box. I love the form factor, love the simplicity, love the fact that it does have a built-in USB port. That means I don't have to get an additional piece just to add the USB functionality. Now, the fact that I was able to play content directly from the USB just tells me that it has decent speeds. You also saw in the speed test that I got really good speed when I plugged in a USB to Ethernet adapter. As far as the price on this, I did pay $74 for this box. I think that will come down once we see it in the US, but also some shipping and other logistics I think caused the price to be higher. So again, just wanted to test it for y'all. I'll leave a link if you want to go ahead and pick it up straight to AliExpress. I will be reviewing the stick version of this. The stick version is available in the US and it's around that $70 price range as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Is there anything that you want me to follow up on this box? Do you think this is a good Fire TV Stick replacement considering the price? Of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.